Hey everyone, today's exercises are looking at how to improve your back flexibility, particularly your lower back when it's bending backwards. A really important skill to regain after back injuries. So there's a handful of theories around sort of why these types of exercises work. The most prominent ones are going to be based on discs and the fluid within discs, and sometimes, well, you can get tears within a disc, and they're starting to look at these as kind of more of an age-related change. So we expect to see these in discs as people get older. So it kind of normalizes it a little bit. Some people can have them and not have pain or even know they have them. Some people do have them with pain, and it can be quite debilitating. How you diagnose that is a different conversation, not necessarily done in clinic. There are some clinic tests which can help with sort of increasing the probability that it is in fact the disc as your source of discomfort. But we're not going to go over that today. Instead, what we're going to go over is just a progression of a few exercises that might help you in regaining some of the flexibility in your lower back. Like I said, particularly with going backwards, that might happen after a disc injury. So if you have a fresh injury going on and you have ongoing pain that is not tolerable, then by all means, please, I encourage you to seek out a local health professional, get an assessment so you can get the appropriate intervention for where you're at in your process, your journey. Today is just about some knowledge and some education, and welcome to try these things, but just be mindful that sometimes exercises can flare things up. So just proceed with caution. So first exercise we're looking at is, let's see, I'm just going to move my mic through the back here, is one most people will be familiar with, which is the sort of bending backwards type movement. So you could start in just laying on your tummy. And in laying on your tummy, you've created some extension or bending backwards through your lower back. And this is, for some people, a good place to start. Now, it's not always that these exercises need to be completely comfortable, but you're looking for afterwards for there to be an improvement in how you feel. The next step as a sustained hold might be to just come up onto your elbows like this. And the idea of sort of relaxing into the position. So you're letting your lower back really sort of sag down. Happy enough to be here. You might spend anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute or even less, depending on what's tolerable. And you can always come back down for a rest. A progression from here would be to do some of the push-ups. So you're pushing up into that position and back down. Now you can do these as repeated movements. And typically recommend about 10 to 20. And afterwards you're checking to see if things feel a bit better. You kind of need to give it that amount. Rarely do I end up going up to 30. Or you can go up and you can stay there and hold. Again, when you're here, trying to sag. Breathing in, on your breathe out, really sagging the lower back down. So it's like I'm trying to bring my front belt line closer to the bed. And you hang out there. So these are some of your laying down versions. Now you could, depending on your setup, have a recline going on, and you can set up like this, and that would also put you into some extension. So that's a position you could think about as well. It's encouraging that flexibility through your lower back in a pretty supported way. The idea is that this would be improving your symptoms, right? That would be the indication to sort of keep using it. If it's making things worse, please stop again, seek a local professional. All right, so let's go over a couple standing variations. So there's a handful of things to consider with progressions of exercises. The focus here is really just looking at what's supported, like down here on the plinth, versus less supported in standing. If I'm standing up, I've got my feet on the ground. That's my contact point. If I'm laying down, I can have contact through the front of my legs, my chest, my pelvis, the hands, etc. So if you're feeling like there's a lot of stiffness going on and it's really taken over your awareness, and you can't focus on much else, then maybe a supported position is going to be a better place to start. But when you're ready, progressing into standing versions is a really good idea. So let's do a supported standing version. If you put your elbows up on a wall or a door, stand back a little bit, whatever distance is comfortable for you, and then drop your hips forward like that. You can do it repeatedly, or you could go and hold the position. We move into an even less supported position. This will be the bending backwards. So you put your hands on your belt line, on your pelvis here. You could even go a little bit higher up into the bottom of your rib cage. The idea though is you're just trying to promote bending back as far as you can tolerate. So there's two things you could think about. One is bending back and you're trying to look further each time, or you could think about pushing your hips forward. They're both going to give not the exact same outcome, but similar. So for here, I'm going to push my hips forward as far as I can, versus if I add in looking, what the looking is going to do is it's really going to make me extend through my upper back as well. So if I do this and now I look, I can go further down. Call that 1, 2, we'll do 10, eh? 3, 4, self-manip, 2 more. Okay. So these are a handful of progressions to improve extension through your spine, but particularly that lower back. Like I said, when would these be indicated? You've got stiffness, right? Stiffness meaning it's hard to bend backwards. Where these exercises are typically indicated is when they improve how you're feeling. So that sounds kind of subjective, because it is, but there's also a predictable objective pattern to it, right? If I bend backwards repeatedly and my range continues to improve and my symptoms continue to improve, that's a good indication to keep using it. If though, your symptoms are not improving or your range is not improving, then I would not necessarily continue, and maybe look at more of our flexion-based videos, which I'll post a series of as well. So sort of straightforward to do, but choose the right starting point. If it feels too hard, too challenging, too noisy, go to your supported versions. If that's feeling easy and you feel like you can get pretty good range, and you're locking your elbows out fully, move into these standing variations. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.